Now, as we begin to settle into fall, the nights will be turning cooler, as Tom just said. And what better way to warm up than with a nice bowl of soup? This is a recipe you're going to want to add to your collection, so pay attention and take a look.
Mary Rapoport with the Virginia Egg Council joins us today with a classic recipe that is perfect for this time of year. Mary, it's great to see you.
Yeah, and it's getting to be crisp outside and it's soup weather, right?
Soup weather.
Love making soup also?
I do. I love it. Love making it and love enjoying it.
Yeah, and soup can be a first course, but this particular soup is a main dish soup. And it's a takeoff on a traditional Greek soup. If you've ever been to a Greek diner, they usually have a soup called avgolemono soup. And it's kind of spelled the same way, avgolemono. And it's chicken stock base thickened with rice and eggs that are cooked almost like a custard into it, and some lemon, and that's where the avgolemono comes from. It has a very strong lemon taste, so if you like lemon, you're going to love this soup. But this is called fall avgolemono soup because it has some fall ingredients in it. And to begin with, I want to tell you that I am using convenience products for a lot of this soup. When I make soup, I sometimes make a whole stock or broth if I have a lot of vegetables left over. But then a lot of times I just use one of these containers of soup, and I usually get the low sodium. Although I kind of think to myself, using low sodium and then adding salt to it. But at least that gives me the control.
The control,
sodium, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to need one of these, and that's what I'm using. It calls for lemons. It calls for a cup of lemon juice, which would mean 4 lemons, this size lemons, 4, decent sized lemons. Or you can buy this in the freezer. It's not lemonade, it's lemon juice. Makes it a whole lot easier. It's lemon juice. It tastes just like lemon juice. The other thing I'm using that's a convenience product, this recipe calls for butternut squash. So you can buy a butternut squash, you can cut it in half, you can put it on a baking sheet, bake it, scoop it out and do that, which is a production. Or you can now buy butternut squash already peeled, already chunked up. What I did was I just took it out of this, put it in a bowl that I can put in the microwave, and cooked it for 6 minutes, and I had my butternut squash done. So
Wow.
I'm using a bunch of convenient products. It calls for rice, which you can also get. If you don't want to cook rice, you can buy frozen rice that's already done. You just thaw it out and use it. And then, of course, this calls for chicken, so I'm using my old standby rotisserie chicken. So
A good go-to.
Yeah. So okay. To begin with, I've got the broth heating in the pot right here, and I'm going to about a cup of this out and put it into a little blender. Into that, I'm putting my 1 cup of lemon juice. This is where the eggs come in. It calls for a whole egg and 2 egg yolks. And what they do is they're going to cook in there, and they're going to cook it very slowly, and they're going to end up thickening this soup. And this is a half a cup of the rice. You use 2 cups of cooked rice altogether, but right now it's going to be just a half a cup. Put the cover on, blend it up until it's nice and smooth. Oh man, this is wonderful. Whoops, all over the place. And I'm going to pour this back in here. You never bring this to a boil. You just keep it on like a low simmer. And what happens is it cooks almost like a custard, like I say. It thickens, that egg thickens it up. At this point, actually, put the rest of the rice in here. This is the chicken, and it calls for a cup and a half of chicken. Again, it's rotisserie chicken. Mushrooms. These are baby bellas, and I just put them in there, half a cup of that. Here's the butternut squash that I've cooked. This goes in here. And then you use 2 cups of either kale or arugula. This is going to go in here. What happens is it's going to cook very, very slowly. I used this pot because I wanted you to see what I was doing, but you would probably use a larger pot. Here's my pot that I made the whole thing in like this. You can see it has a little more space. but this cooks at a very slow simmer and it thickens beautifully. Like I said, it's almost like a custard, although not sweet. Little cracked pepper. When I serve it, I'm going to just give it a little twist of lemon to freshen it up. And here is full avgolemono soup. It's redolent of lemon. It's just delicious, and it's perfect with crusty bread, fruit on the side. Super healthy, super delicious.
Mary, that looks absolutely beautiful. And when you did that initial whir in the blender, you could see it instantly thicken up. So it's really incredible how it goes from that point and then in. And as you said, you never bring it to a boil, but you do that low simmer, and then that takes care of the raw eggs.
It'll cook the egg, and it cooks it very slowly, very softly. What you don't want to do is boil it, because then it curdles the egg. If that happens, well, you just have like egg drop soup, I guess.
A version of egg drop soup. That's right. Well, Mary Rapoport with the Virginia Egg Council, another delicious recipe that is excellent. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Good to see you.
Great to see you too, and definitely destined to be a fall favorite. We'll post the recipe online on our website, wtbr.com/VTM, so you can go and try the soup yourself.